All right. Yeah, I'm just doing some final changes. So, Tom, before I post this bombshell article about you,
Yeah.
do you have any notes or edits or tweaks you'd like to have made?
Yeah, I'll make some changes. Oh, baby, baby, baby. Is there a little
Uh,
echo there?
what?
There's a little echo? Very good. All right, we're good.
You're
Ladies
good.
and gentlemen, it's Wednesday,
What
11
Wednesday?
a.m. In your face holes. Here we are for another edition of GPS, the Grassy
Yes.
Perna Show.
We got a lot of football to break down, to talk about, some actual football stuff, some extracurricular football stuff. Jon Gruden, that story continues to snowball a little bit. The question now is, what the hell will the NFL do about the other 650,000 emails that they have access to that they are refusing to release?
They got 649,994 other emails because there was like 6 with Gruden.
Yeah, they're like,
the other ones are fine.
6 is all we need.
It's fine.
I wanted to talk a little bit about Lamar Jackson, the Ravens today. Adam Schefter is in some hot water for his reporting. We will do our power rankings debate, second half of the show, I believe.
Oh yeah.
And oh yeah, I got a Lions stat that
just start off talking about the Lions.
Let's start with the Lions stat here, because we know they've lost 2 games this season on field goals. Okay.
Yep.
But Alex over at Highlight Heaven, you might know him from YouTube. He is a machine in uploading highlights.
Oh, he's a monster.
Yeah, so he posted this on Twitter yesterday, and I just found it interesting. The Detroit Lions have lost 3 19-17 games on game-winning field goals. 2 of those field goals set the record at the time for longest field goal in NFL history. 3 field goals totaled 183 yards of distance, which is an average of 61 yards per field goal. Damn, Detroit. That's a
new level
stat to find.
Yeah, that's a whole new level.
So, like, pain. For a team that struggled to win, to be beat on improbably long field goals just has to sting so bad. I'm patiently waiting for the Lions to be good one day. I'm sure you don't really care, Tom. Like,
I listen. People always ask me. They're like, Tom, if like there was any team to win a Super Bowl in that division, who would it be? And if it wasn't the Packers, obviously. And I always say it's the Lions, because like the Lions, I just at this point I now know many Lions fans, and like I just want to see. We saw Browns fans, like they're happy now. Right? Like they've kind of come out of the abyss a little bit. Jacksonville was happy for that one year, that one time. Like you see these teams that have like gotten better over time. Yeah. And for the Lions, it just seems like I mentioned this, I think on Monday, it's like this carousel of head coaching staffs and players and what have you, that I feel like Dan Campbell, we talked about this with the press conference, like is that guy to kind of steer the ship, and make the rivalry fun. Like I'm about it.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, the AFC West doesn't really have a team like that. The Chargers are the closest.
Sure.
But they've enjoyed success during like the regular season. They've gotten to the playoffs and lost.
More the regular season, but yeah. They're like, this is our year, guys. I swear we're going to be good this time. And then Philip Rivers got to the playoffs and they're like, no, it's same old.
No, but they may have found their guy in Justin Herbert. And this was another thing I saw on Twitter that I just thought was great. It is
yes, I saw that.
It's Justin Herbert, the chosen one, the evolution.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Which means that Justin Herbert is eventually going to kill children with a lightsaber.
He's
That's
gonna
basically
slaughter them
what
with his lightsaber.
this means. So if you go to an autograph signing or a Star Wars convention and Justin Herbert's there, go the other way. Just run the other way. Who's Palpatine in this situation? I mean, I know we usually go with Bill Belichick, but that's who's going to turn him to the dark side. And also, is Justin Herbert going to fall into an active volcano? You know, this is the kind of stuff that people want to know.
Is Justin Herbert going to become the first quarterback to lose both of his arms, but come back and win comeback player of the year after he has them some mechanical ones put on?
Yeah. Like, listen, if Herbert goes out there in a breathing apparatus similar to Darth Vader, I mean, like, I'll buy a Justin Herbert jersey right now. Like, we'll do that. He changes his name legally to Darth Herbert. Like, I'm about it. Like, I am all about it. So, you know, I'm not wishing he falls into an active volcano. I'm just saying if that tragedy happened to befall him, I would root for his comeback.
Wasn't he left with like no arms and no legs at the end of the third Star Wars? That was like one of the final.
You thought
scenes.
Lieutenant Dan had it bad? Yeah, no. Anakin had a real, and he got lit on fire too. Like legitimately, like he's got no legs. He's got no hands, and he's literally on fire. So,
and Obi-Wan's like, I'd finish the job. I did the job.
Obi-Wan's like, deuces. Yeah, that's. I want to see Darth Herbert fan art by the end of the day, folks. I'm just letting you know. There's nearly 1,000 people in there. The clickbait fan art's coming out.
It's hot,
by the way, that one that came out last night captured your crazy manic eyes so well, and I was like, this is impressive. This is impressive. But
yeah, crazy manic eyes.
Speaking of impressive and lighting their careers on fire, Jon Gruden. That's a fire. Right now.
Hold on. One question before we do Gruden, because it's been on my mind and it's important and it's Star Wars related. Do the Packers have a Darth Vader fan?
What do you mean?
There you go. So, like, I've noticed every team seems to have some version of a Darth Vader fan. I will order some bench warmer brew despite not being a coffee drinker if Perna changes his number one in the power rankings to the Packers before they fade. When do the Packers play the Bears?
This week.
Oh, shit. It's too late, Demetrius.
It's set in stone, Demetrius. How dare you turn against me?
Wow, I love Demetrius.
Anyway, you were saying about Darth Vader fans?
Does every fan base have one? Like, I know the Raiders Darth Vader guy, like, that makes sense because it's the Raiders.
Oh, you mean like a fan? Oh, you mean a fan of the
There's an Orange Broncos one. Then I saw there's a Rams one, which is Darth Vader with just like ram horns out of his head. And I was wondering if like every single fan base just has a guy who shows up as Darth Vader, but it's in their fan colors.
I will be honest. Right now, I have a massive flag that hangs over my back door. Oh, that sounded good. That says you underestimate the power of the G, and Darth Vader's on it. So, just saying.
There it is. Okay, Jon Gruden.
Yeah, let's talk about Jon Gruden.
We got to talk about Gruden.
Yeah.
Do we want to? Not really.
Yeah, and again, I mean, it's early, so maybe people won't be as crappy in the chat here. But
that'd be cool today.
Okay, shout out to the mods. So a lot is unfolded since we talked about Gruden getting fired, and I feel like that was like 8 years ago at this point. Like, and it was literally like 2 days ago, in which Jon Gruden removed, and you're starting to see the fallout of like he's being removed from the Ring of Honor in Tampa. We'll talk about that for a hot second. We'll talk about kind of like all the things that have fallen upon him. But the bigger story that I definitely want to get into is this is just like a sliver of the iceberg, because during the investigation of the Washington football team, there were 650,000 emails that were unearthed. And we've seen like 6 of them, and they just happened to do with Gruden.
Honestly, I think a fair punishment too would be that Gruden has to read all 650,000 of those emails.
Yeah.
It's like you can be fired or you have to read all 650,000 of these emails, and you snitch on anybody else who is very bad, who is very, very bad.
A Bangalorean. That's phenomenal.
Ooh, the Bangalorean. Oh, yeah, I did see the Bengals one. That was the other guy I noticed. Like, sometimes when I'm looking for, photos for videos, I'm like, there's always a Darth Vader fan. Bangalorian. Interesting. Not Darth Vader, but, Bangalorian.
It's the Star Wars
Mando.
overlaps. But yeah, so a lot of the focus besides Gruden has been like, okay, well, like, not to sound like I can't read. Like it's now of like, okay, like what else is in those other emails? Because that like a lot of it is going to have to do with like the Washington football team. We spoke about it for a hot second. Adam Schefter back in 2011 had correspondence with Bruce Allen, and he was going to do this whole big like article and this whole big story that was going to be released that day. And he sent it to Bruce Allen, and he was like, here, Mr. Editor, are there any other things that need to be changed here? Like any tweaks? And I'm just like, oh, Shefty. And I feel like Packer fans at this point, after what happened during the draft, they're just like, oh, Schefter's going to go down? Good. Good.
Yeah, oh man, it is complicated. 98% of the time, Tom 2%.
All right, Demetrius. You know, that's valid.
Tom Grossi is
fair.
The milk of Demetrius Clay's life. 2%, baby. Woo!
That's it. You were saying about, the emails and all that.
Yeah, because, I mean, all right, we got to go back just a little bit here. Because the NFL acted on what they found from the Washington football team investigation in July. And, part of what they were looking into was how the Washington football team cheerleaders were treated. They're demanding that all of the emails get released because they're disgusted by this just getting like glossed over, and that Gruden's been made like the fall guy here, right? And deservedly so. Like,
I want to make
call
that clear.
your boss what you call them and expect to continue to have your job. That's just facts. If you think it's cancel culture, I implore you to email your boss and say the same shit Gruden said and see if you have a job tomorrow.
Yeah.
Say it. Just try it. If that's cancel culture. Okay?
Dude, Tom Grossi went to work against some people on the internet, and I just like fell into the rabbit hole because the comments were bad. Like they were bad. And I went in and like I kept seeing that like, oh, it's cancel culture. And they were just like, we have freedom of speech in this country. I'm like, guys, first of all, we need to read the Constitution. It's short. I promise you could get through it pretty quickly. One, the government's not stopping Jon Gruden from sending these emails. He sent them over 7 years. He sent those emails, and rightfully, like he just did it. And no one impeded him on there. They got unearthed. You could argue. I think the argument comes down to is we can criticize, and very much so, how the NFL has handled certain like scandals and controversies because they have whiffed it over and over and over again, right? Whether it was like with the Ray Rice situation, whether it's suspending guys who smoke pot over guys who have been accused and or convicted of domestic violence. Like there's plenty of stuff that you could talk about and go down the laundry list. And even with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? And like Antonio Brown still on like their team, or like, you have these people that are there and you're just like, well, if you're going to remove Jon Gruden, we can talk about that like all day. And that's fine. I think when you start defending Gruden and say like the things that he said, like, nah, like that's where I'm going to draw the line and be like, no, that he deservedly so is no longer having a job in the NFL.
And like, if you don't know what he said, just go look it up because Tom and I aren't going to say it on this stream.
Correct.
Like he said stuff. He said shit that you can't say. You know me. I'll say a lot of things. I'm not going to say some of the words Jon Gruden chose to call Roger Goodell. It's
not a 10-year-old thing. It's not like it happened for 7 years.
Yeah,
like
he's a 48-year-old man emailing
to 2018. Like this wasn't like, oh, and he's one thing he said 10 years ago. Like that's what I kept saying. Like people just didn't read the article. Like they didn't see all of the things that he said. But
yeah, and it's like, I saw Pat McAfee talk about it yesterday, and I related because like you could tell he was uncomfortable. He didn't want to talk about it, but he went on like a 5-minute sort of speech, stream of consciousness, talking really fast, but he made a lot of good points. And I think like the situation you and I are in is it's sometimes hard to say exactly what you're thinking about this situation because one, there's some really offensive language.
Sure.
That sort of need to use to describe the story, but then you're unsure, like, can you even say it to describe the story?
Yeah.
And then you're trying to convey like the news information, so you're not trying to be biased towards it one way or the another. And I thought what Pat said that was smart is like, I'm not qualified to talk about some of this stuff, and that's the way I feel about it. Like when I make a Jon Gruden video about him getting fired and these things, like I'm just looking for like, how do I make jokes about this thing?
Sure.
Like I'm not trying to like tell people how to think and live their life. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to take a look at the absurdity of the story and make jokes within that
Sure.
can that can stand on their own, that aren't, attacking who he went after or attacking like even John in a weird way. Like, it's just a weird thing to talk about. And sometimes if you're not a super intelligent person like myself, you struggle to find the right words to describe like what the situation really is.
Sure.
And then beyond that, we have an entire investigation into a football club that treated their employees poorly, not just the cheerleaders. They treated all of their employees bad. They like,
dude, it was bad.
Berated like just your normal executive dudes in meetings, like made one guy who was like a former cheerleader like dance for them,
Yep.
like literally like dance for us puppet sort of thing.
It was bad.
Their medical staff was bad. There's so many layers to this. And so an investigation this extensive, what people who are rightfully mad about is that the NFL selected these 6 emails or whatever about Jon Gruden and got him fired, and are refusing to do any more leakage of anything else bad that happened.
Correct.
Probably because it's going to paint
owners,
many teams in a bad light. It's going to paint the NFL in a bad light. Or Roger Goodell saw what Gruden called him and was like, all right, this guy's done.
Well, I think like that's what I mean. Is that you can, because I got a lot of whataboutism. I got about like, what about this guy? And what about Tyreek Hill? And the people in the Super Bowl, they like the halftime show, they say bad things. And like, basically what I'm saying is like, I don't disagree with you. And one, there's context that's there. But two, like the NFL should be consistent about the company they keep, right? They should be consistent about who is representing their brand. And Gruden, there was no way in hell that he was going to be able to remain on board, considering that the NFL is trying to, I'm using like their words, is trying to grow, is trying to evolve, is trying to kind of, move past transgressions. You could argue all day if they're actually doing that or if it's just a PR stunt. I don't like, that doesn't even matter to me at this point. But I think it's a matter of, hey, you look at this, and it doesn't mean, like, you can compare it to these situations. It doesn't mean Gruden still should have a job, right? Yeah. Like, you can say, like, I want consistency. Sure, that's great. It's a great argument to have, and that's something that you could actually talk about. But that doesn't mean that Gruden, a, like, 40-something-year-old man, should be, like, sending those emails and still have a job to a GM of an NFL team, and it's a nightmare. Yeah. So
it's like Gruden, like I said, he emailed like the way I think a lot of us talked when we were 15 years old. You know what I mean? And it's, you try to learn, you try to get better as you grow older. You try to realize like some of the things you can say can be perceived as very hurtful to people, even if that's not necessarily your intention. And you don't know exactly who Gruden is, what his intention when he's saying some of these things, like, but at that level, you put that stuff in writing. I mean, look, I've talked about the worst email I sent in a professional manner. When I was 22, 23, I emailed a photo of myself doing this while playing Guitar Hero I replied all to an HR email about workplace employee conduct because I thought I was responding to my friends who were making fun of me at work, saying I looked like Greg Brady or one of the Brady Bunch dudes. And I did, so I found the picture that I looked most like him, and I just happened to be flipping it up. And I sent it to the entire company. And then I got no help from my boss. I went like he just freaked out. He just lost
Yeah.
his mind. And instead of being an actual leader in that situation, saying like, hey, Brandon, you need to do these things. We'll try to clean this up tomorrow. I just went home. I went to bed. I woke up and had like 50 missed calls from multiple people at the office. Went in, explained my story. They did not fire me, probably because I was editing adult-themed content at the time. But like, people make mistakes. That was incredibly embarrassing for me to do that. But even that isn't as bad as what Gruden sent out.
Doesn't even like touch like what
and I
that
was
is.
22. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like people make mistakes, and we're not saying people shouldn't be forgiven for mistakes.
No,
but you got to understand, as you grow into more important positions in your career, you're going to be held more accountable than other people.
Correct. That's a perfect point. And in addition, it's not a one-off thing. Like that I think is, and it's, it was described as like a clean sweep, right? Like there's so many things that you could look at, and any one of those things, like you could justify him not having a job, right? And like they're sharing topless photos of Washington cheerleaders. Like they're talking about, like, there's homophobia in there. There is racist content in there. Like there's all of these things that are in there. And again, go read the article. Like, I'm not telling you what's in there. Like you could go and like look for it yourself. But I think at the end of the day, you know, they had the first thing that came out. Gruden came out, apologized. They interviewed players, what have you. And in my opinion, I think he actually might have been able to keep his job, considering they went through all the PR hoops and like they were like, we talked to all these people like we talked about. And then like all this other stuff came out. It was just like, yeah, maybe the one thing you would have gotten forgiven for, it was 10 years ago, people change, what have you. But then there's a pattern, then it just continuously goes, and now you are where you're at. So that's it.
Yeah, I'll just say this. Wait, what? Hold on. There's one comment in here. There we go. Nope. Damn it. I keep hitting the wrong one. There it is. That's not necessarily true, but let's say give Gruden the credit, like saying he used a phrase he shouldn't have because he used a different phrase that he thought, meant somebody, was dumb, basically. Okay. Even if the racial thing that he said was overblown, you can't forgive the homophobic stuff he said and the sexist stuff that he has in those emails. So like, it's not just one thing. He was going to get a pass for the overblown racist comments. Okay. He was going to get a pass. He had Tony Dungy defend him on the Sunday Night Football like halftime thing. Mike Tirico defended him.
Yeah.
And they were going to move past it. And then the NFL was like, no, there's more of these. There's more of these guys. And then people are like, oh.
I just imagine Goodell sending out the first one. He's like, that'll sink him. And like people are just like, oh, he's changed 10 years. He's like, you freaking kidding me? He's like going into his email again. He's like, send.
Yeah, dude, that was exactly like my bit in the Gruden video I did. Was like, Goodell was like, okay, let's put out the racist one first. That'll take care of Gruden. And then it does. And he's like, dang, well, let's use the one where he called me a different term for a bundle of sticks.
Yeah,
that will get him this time.
I'll get him. But all right. Any more about Gruden?
I hope not. And I think here's the point. Here's the real thing. We all want the NFL to do the right thing.
Correct.
And if Dan Snyder can be held accountable for all of the terrible stuff he's done, they need to take action there. And maybe they don't have to release all the emails because it will be too damning to too many NFL organizations.
Which is a big possibility.
If they do something permanent to Dan Snyder, the fans will support it. The people who had to be employed by the Washington football team that feel the most alienated by their practices, they'll be okay with that. Because right now, Dan Snyder is away from the team for an undisclosed amount of time. Like that could be forever. Maybe not. His wife's running the team.
Yep.
And it has not impacted his ability to make money from the football team he owns. So the NFL, if they want to be taken seriously about this, they have to force Dan Snyder out. And I don't think anybody on earth cares if Dan Snyder's out, because most people know not a good dude, not a good team to have played for. So I think that's like, I get if you're upset that it feels like Gruden was specifically targeted and nobody else is going to be, suffer consequences here. I understand that part of it because it does feel very weird that it was just Gruden's
It was
shit
just Gruden.
put out
Yeah.
for everybody to see.
Like,
So
again, just
we'll see what happens.
I'm a big fan of be consistent, whether that is in your actions, whether that's in your words, mindset, etc. And I think like that, and that's not discouraging change because, and I mentioned this too, back when Kaepernick was first kneeling and people started kneeling during the national anthem, the NFL was very adamantly against that. Like, again, they were fining players, leaving it up to the teams. Like, I remember the whole thing with the Dolphins and Jerry Jones, like all of that happened. And now the NFL has done a complete 180. And now they have end racism on helmets and in the end zone and stuff. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing because it's not. But I do think you could argue, is this more of like PR or like, is there actual intention? What I'm going to say is if you're going to have end racism in your end zone, put actual practical plans and action in place to make sure that you're backing up those statements.
Yeah.
And I think that in this sense, whether it was PR purposes or whatever, Gruden went against that. And so now if there's other emails in there, which I'm sure there are plenty of, then just make sure that you're taking action like you just did against Gruden. And that's it. Like, I'm just saying, remain consistent.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, the NFL, oh man. I've done so many videos about them doing the not right thing. I mean, even all the way back to like their breast cancer awareness month when it was exposed about how little money was actually going towards the charities. You know what I mean?
Dude, by the way, Susan G. Komen sucks as a charity. And like the WWE does this too. Like they're like everyone gets pink and stuff like that. It's trash. Like they all do it for like awareness. It doesn't like go to research. So like I will happily shout them out as being terrible. So like that, yeah, you're 100% right. And like nothing went to actual research or support of patients or families or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was PR BS.
Yeah. I mean, that's what the NFL does. Like I listened also, if you want to get a good beat on the Gruden thing, I would suggest listening to Pro Football Talk. Maybe you're a fan, maybe you're not. But Mike Florio with a legal background, usually pretty good on these things. And him and Chris Sims had like a 30-minute conversation that I thought was pretty good into trying to determine like why the NFL did this the way they did. So, if you're like super into the NFL conspiracies and trying to figure it out, kind of like I am sometimes, I would recommend listening to them. All right, let's move on to some real football talk, Tom, because there were some good things happening around the league this week. One, Monday Night Football.
Dude.
Lamar Jackson has a career game. Couple things I wanted to discuss here because I kind of mentioned it in the power rankings. First of all, the Ravens, they're winning in entertaining fashion. You had the Lamar Jackson flip into the end zone against the Chiefs with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. You had Justin Tucker hitting the 66-yard field goal against the Lions to beat them. And then Lamar throws a game-winning touchdown pass in OT to Hollywood Brown against the Colts. A good pass, too, is in traffic. And what's funny is, okay, so Tom and I, during Monday Night Football, did a live stream about Gruden.
Yes.
Right? And we were watching that game, and right after the live stream, there was the Colts scored that defensive touchdown that got called back because the knee was down. Yep. And I was telling Tom, I was like, this is what I love about the NFL. Any team can win. Nobody thought the Colts were going to have a chance. And then, like, we got off the stream, the TD gets called back, and then the Ravens just go on a tear to come back and beat the Colts. And a lot of people were like, I wish you guys would have just kept streaming to keep talking about that game because it was insane.
And just pivoted.
And then, like, at the end of the day, Lamar had an 86 completion percentage. 86. He completed 86% of his passes, threw for over 400 yards, was the team's leading rusher, threw 4 touchdowns. And, Ravens fan. Yeah, it was. Okay, fair enough. Shot to the Broncos nuts like we need it. But what I wanted to bring up, because I know Lamar Jackson's he's just an all-around great quarterback. He doesn't get the credit he deserves for being a passer sometimes, but I feel like that's an old narrative. And I feel like more people want to defend Lamar Jackson than I actually see people like criticizing Lamar Jackson for not being a good quarterback.
Mhm.
And I just wanted your take, like, because maybe I live in a weird football world on social media where I follow a lot of people are super into football. So they all know Lamar Jackson's a very well-rounded quarterback.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I always see people like, this is for the haters of Lamar. And they post like a stat. I'm like, who's hating on him
Who's
now?
hating
Because
on him anymore? Yeah.
I feel like everybody knows he's pretty good, but maybe I'm wrong. And I wanted your take on that, Tom.
No, I kind of agree with that. I think it's like, because in the beginning, I think it was all of that, right? It was Lamar's just a running back, what have
Well,
you.
yeah, it was when he was coming out of college. There were
Yep.
question marks about it. Like,
Yeah.
that was the story then, but I feel like we've moved past that.
Yeah, I feel like we have too, because I feel like after a while, I mean, like they're like, listen, the guy is a great scram. Like he sometimes is like all like their whole running game,
Yeah.
right? Like, and Lamar Jackson was kind of like the team with Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown on Monday night. But I think that, yeah, I think we've progressed past there. But I feel like that narrative of fighting against it is still holding on. And I don't know if it's more like Ravens fans who were just like slighted by that, and we're just like, remember 3 years ago what you said about Lamar? How about this stat, you a-holes? Like, I don't know if it was that, but yeah, Lamar Jackson, though, it is a good quarterback. Like, he can beat, and I think what I like about him is he's versatile and he could do what the game is calling for. Like, there's running lanes for him to go. He's going to run all over you, right? If there's throwing lanes like there were here, he tore it up. Like, that man throwing that freaking fracking football. What was he? I had it written down somewhere. Had it 37 for freaking 43. Like, that's insane completion percentage. 4 touchdowns, ran it for 62 yards. And the stat that I love the most, and I mentioned this in my power rankings, was that Lamar Jackson himself, all around, has 1,860 yards, which is more than 15 entire offenses in the league. That's wild.
I put that same stat in there. It's insane. And I saw somebody say something like, if you keep him in the pocket, you're good. That's not true.
No.
The Broncos kept Lamar Jackson in the pocket, and he threw for over 300 yards and tore him apart. And he just did it against the Colts. Like, so maybe that's what maybe that's the narrative people think. That, you know, if you contain him into the pocket, he can't beat you. That's just not true.
Well, so the question I posed was, Lamar Jackson, amazing. Don't get me wrong, like, was amazing. Do you put this more on Lamar Jackson being incredible, or holy crap, the complete collapse of the Indianapolis Colts? Because
it's a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
I think Lamar is the most gamer quarterback there is. Like,
gotcha.
That dude just turns on a different switch when it's game time. And no, he is not the best passing quarterback in the NFL, but he doesn't have to be. And he probably never will have to be, because his run threat is the best in the NFL. It's the only bigger running threat in the NFL might be Derrick Henry than Lamar, because he can do it when you're not expecting it.
Sure.
But I would say he's a top 10 passer in the league for sure.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
What he did against the Colts was an all-time NFL record. No quarterbacks completed that many passes with over 400 yards passing on that many attempts. So, like, he can be incredibly efficient. And the better he gets at that, the more dangerous it's going to be. And I think a lot of people were wondering the future for Lamar. Like, if he loses a couple steps, if he's not as quick, you know, when he's like 36, you know, can he still be an effective quarterback? I think the answer probably by that time, yes. And he has also shown an uncanny ability to stay healthy as a running quarterback. And Aaron Rodgers, your man, just told Joe Burrow to slide sometimes.
Just slide, buddy.
So I think there's a fallacy if you're a quarterback who is mobile, who runs a lot, that you're going to get hit more. I don't think that's true, because I think you can mitigate your hits when you're in the open field by sliding, by running out of bounds. The real danger is when you're in the pocket trying to throw and you take a weird hit, a la Joe Burrow, a la Russell Wilson's hand, Tom Brady's hand. He just hurt that throwing a ball the other day. So it's, you know, there's some fallacies there. But anyway, That's
Well,
enough about Lamar.
I
I love watching him play football so much, and I should hate the Ravens. I should hate them for a multitude of reasons, but like when I watch the dude play football, I love it. I'm in awe.
it's
Basically.
fun as a football fan. Like that's what it
Yeah.
comes down to. Like it legitimately like is just wow. This guy is like crazy impressive, and it's just fun to watch him do like when he was running all over like even when he just runs, like just like watching the insane plays that he does is just it's a good time to watch, and you enjoy yourself.
Lamar Jackson makes me horny for football. I'm just gonna say it.
I'm just gonna say it.
He makes me want to fornicate with a football.
Okay. Well, let's get a power ranking.
I'm going to spend the next 20 minutes trying to make Tom uncomfortable, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, it's going to be pretty difficult to do because my coach has talked about urine a lot. So
let's get that hot urine in our blood.
So, yeah.
Okay. Power rankings. Boop.
Power rankings.
All right. So every Tuesday, Tom and I release our power rankings on our channels. You got to compare them. You got to compare. Mine went out late yesterday because I did the Gruden video, and then our baby was sent home, not for being bad, but you know,
it's a bad baby.
We got a little busy in the afternoon, so mine went out late. But usually Tom and I get those out, and this was the results so far. As you can see, there's one power ranking to rule them all, and then you got Tom's. The small one is Tom's, by the way. My power ranking is the one that has my name on it and my YouTube channel on it. And I wanted to start at 10 here, Tom, because I made it a shared award this week between the Bengals and the Bears. The NFC North Bears.
Well, you know, it's funny that you bring up those power rankings because I have my own power rankings here.
Oh, you sneaky son of a gun.
I maybe shout out to John Robertson, who literally just emailed this to me.
At number one market. Repeat. They're gonna repeat.
So I'm sorry. So you're admitting you cheated, and you put it out there that it is a shared award. I was really close to putting the Bengals on there instead of the Chiefs. Like I said, like this is the Chiefs' last shot. Like unless you're going to start winning some games, which I think they will because their schedule is kind of a joke. But
that's what I think of the Chiefs in the top 10. Ain't happening.
I was like, are you hot? Do you want to send that via an email? Like right now? Do you want to send that to? Do you want to send that?
Dear Andy Reid and Brett Veach,
I think
and your dumb team. Just kidding. I do think there's some concerns with the Chiefs, though. You got them at 10.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they got a losing record, which the Bears and Bengals do not.
They're in the basement.
Are the Chiefs probably still a better team than those two franchises? Yes. Yes, they are probably.
But
I put the Bears and Bengals in there because I don't know if they'll have another chance to get into the top 10. So I like to use my 10 spot for a team that maybe needs a little bit of love. And I think the Bears have actually managed to put a winning record together in very improbable fashion. Justin Fields, not like he played great last week, but he hyperextended his knee during the game, finished the game. I thought that was impressive. They ran the ball well without David Montgomery. Also, I thought impressive. And their defense is keeping them in game.
Their defense is good. Yeah.
The Bengals-Packers game could have been a coin flip about 30 different times on who won that game. So that's why I put the Bengals there. Also, I saw, Tom, did you see the end zone shot of Aaron Rodgers throwing that pass to Cobb?
Yes, I did.
Oh, dude. Like we touched on how impressive it was. It is, you can't even fathom until you see that alt angle.
God. He's a god. Like, well, it's that throw, and then there's one to Devontae, which was just like insane. But yeah, like there's like zero margin for error there. Like it's like that is why he is an incredible quarterback. Like every now and then, like he'll overthrow a guy, and you'll be like, oh, is this it? And then he'll make that throw, and you're like, oh no, he's still really good.
It's not. It's that throw at that point in the game.
Yeah.
That's as clutch as you can be.
Yep.
And his post game when he was like he wanted to go for it. He was like, "Is Mace gonna make it?" And they're like, "Yep." He was like, "All right, we'll go kick it then."
Yeah. And like people like went up to him like, "You're an effing good like kicker. Like go." Like just like they trusted Mason. Like guy missed 3 field goals, like 3 in that game, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, it's 49-yard. Yeah, send Mason out again.
He'll make it.
Yeah, he'll make it. No problem." Like the confidence. I'm like, I love it. It's so wholesome. It is like a Disney Channel like movie, and you're just like, yeah, this is great. Yeah. So all right, so that's why, yeah, I had the Chiefs still there. They have some big problems, but I couldn't put them over the Bengals just yet. And yeah, 9, you put my Packers all the way down at 9.
Yeah.
Oof.
Didn't like the way they struggled against the Bengals. And again,
there's so many injuries, Perna.
I know.
There's so many.
This is this week. Come November when they get healthy, let's see them dominate a good team first. They're doing the wins the right way. They're getting the wins in the close, tough games. And it doesn't matter who you play, when you play them, you're going to get some tough games you don't expect. And I think that's what the Ravens just did against the Colts. But at this moment in time, I think the Packers could lose to a lot of teams on this list based on the injuries. I don't think about the future. I don't think about the past. My power rankings are for that week only.
That's it. That's all.
That's why if the Lions get a win, maybe they make it into the top 10 now.
Number 1, baby. That's it. Like
I got to give fans some hope in these power rankings.
Yeah. All right. That's fair enough.
But yeah, I mean, okay. So the Browns, you put them at 9. I got them at 8.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
There we go.
We're just comparing here. We're just a little comparison there. Okay. All right. Yeah. So 9, I think we're on the same page when it comes to the Browns. The Rams, we both have at number 7.
Wow. Look at us.
Because folks, like we don't compare at all. Like we don't compare. We don't compare notes. I forgot to see my power rankings until this morning. So yeah, no, it's
yeah, the Rams, here's what I want to give. Well, okay, the Browns are at 8. They could have fallen more, but and this is kind of what I said. I was like, they played a perfect football game and still lost. If that ain't the Browns, I don't know what is. Yeah. Baker, there are no turnovers over like 400, 500 yards of offense. I forget what it is. Like no team's ever lost in that
Chubb
scenario.
Like ran a cajillion yards. Yeah.
And like the Chargers, they go for it on 4th down a lot. They go for 2. I like the way the Browns are playing. I think they'll win more games. But the Rams got to win against the Seahawks on the road on Thursday Night Football. That's a gritty win. I know Russell Wilson got hurt, but after that, Geno came in and it seemed like the Seahawks offense played even a little bit better with Geno. So credit the Rams for hanging on. I think they're figuring out on offense how to beat you multiple ways. Still concerned about their defense, though.
Yeah, well, so like that's what I say with the Browns. Real quick, they also have defensive injuries too. Like that's a big point as well because like that was one of the biggest surprises for both those teams. Honestly, like how bad the defenses were.
Yeah, I know Chargers.
Yeah, like the Matthew Stafford heading over to the Rams because their defense. Like Matthew Stafford, I know he hurt his finger as well. There was two finger issues for both quarterbacks. And like Cooper Kupp held under 100 yards, but like Robert Woods was like crushing it. The run game, still there, but the defense was like a bit concerning for me. And again, I think the Rams are still a very good football team. Aaron Donald still play very well, but yeah, I think that's why for me, these past 2 weeks, like the Bills stand out so much and the Browns were standouts for me too. Cause it was like, wow, like these are dominant defenses who are just imposing their will on these teams. And like the Browns, again, littered with injuries, like they allowed a lot of points. The Rams allowed Geno Smith to throw it on them. And like the Bills, they're just like, like you hold Patrick Mahomes to 7 points. Like, yeah, you're vibing. So yeah, I think the Rams are still good. I think the Browns are still good, but there are some question marks about the defense. A little bit less, honestly, about the Browns just because there's some injuries.
Yeah, they'll bounce back.
Yeah.
Okay, 9, 8, 7. So we got to go to 6 here. Oh, man, you didn't even give me the right number matchups. Good God. Okay, so you got the Packers at 6.
I just wrote it all in number numeric. Here you go. This is easy. All right, so you had the Brownies. You got St. Louis.
St. Louis Lane.
You got St. Louis. Number 6, you had Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, no, I think that's accurate. Sometimes, do you ever like say something in an episode and then you see it on like ESPN or NFL Network and it just makes you feel really good that you're hitting like the same point?
Yeah.
That happened yesterday because I said Lamar Jackson had entered the MVP chat, and I thought the reason being that he is more important to his team than any other player right now. And Mina Kimes on ESPN said the same thing. I'm like, you should be on NFL Live or whatever the hell show it is.
Yeah.
Because without Lamar Jackson, I don't think the Ravens are very good.
Oh, no.
And
especially with all their injuries at running back too. Oh, no.
And there are other guys right now, like Josh Allen for the Bills, very important to the Bills, but the Bills right now, I feel like have a really good team around them. And if you put a good quarterback in there, they'd still be winning games.
Yeah.
Like the Ravens need somebody as special as Lamar to carry them. But so yeah, Lamar Jackson, fair enough. I'll call the Ravens that.
Yeah, hold on. I'll go back to your disrespect.
Okay.
Wait, no, because you split it up wrong. All right, so 6 and 8. Yeah, so I had them at 8 just because like they got in that position where they needed to come back, but still giving props to Lamar Jackson. So that's what that was. I had my Packers at 6. They dropped down. I think I had them in the top 5 last week, but I dropped them down to 6 just because of like what you said, all those injuries. Still gritty win, but still mildly concerning. Did we have the same for the Cowboys? No, mine was 5 and yours was 4.
Yeah. I got the Cardinals at 5, which people did not like. This list, I discredit this entire list as soon as you put the Cardinals at 5. How could you put them at 5? Let me tell you why I put the Cardinals at 5. They were number 1 last week. They were in the cursed spot.
They were.
I thought a way to try and shake off their curse is to drop them down to 5. Like, get the curse off them. Because if the Raiders taught us anything, it's that the curse can be a slow burn.
It lingers.
It can linger.
It lingers.
It can linger.
Yeah.
Also, not impressed with the way you guys played against the 49ers, if I'm being honest. Trey Lance wasn't good, and you only won by 7 points. So
the offense definitely was not. They were grounded a bit.
Now, the flip side, you can say, but they got to win when their offense wasn't clicking. That's important, and I agree, Arizona. I agree. I still think you're a good team. So just look at it like I did you a favor by putting you at 5.
That's it. That's all. Yeah, I had them still at 2 because they are the only undefeated team. I do think it's a divisional game, so like there's always going to be weird stuff that goes along with that. And they did enough to win. Like, so I think that they still get that respect. But I could see how you drop them a little bit. And again, it kind of just cleans them.
Trying to cleanse that because I don't want to curse Arizona.
I get you.
But I had to make that spot. I had to keep the integrity. Also, here's a fun thing, Tom. I ordered a spin wheel.
Oh.
Because I don't think I can keep cursing the number 1 spot. So I'm going to make my power rankings. And then when I go and shoot the episode, I'm going to spin which number is going to be the curse.
Oh, no.
And whatever poor team that lands on.
No. So you could curse the Bills.
I could curse the Bills. I could curse the Packers.
No.
At some point, I don't think the curse can be in my control because I will use it for bad. I will use it for bad. And I don't want to be like
the entire Raiders franchise.
I don't want that on my name.
Since they were number 1, they lost 2 games. And their head coach is now gone, Perna.
I know.
I had a comment in my one of my videos that said Perna's curse is so strong it went back in time and wrote those emails for Jon Gruden just so he could get fired.
Gruden's like, I never even wrote those emails. Like, I don't want to make people racist or homophobic or misogynistic or not liking red hair.
That curse is something.
It's powerful. I don't want that. I don't want that power. With great power comes great responsibility, and I am not responsible, Spider-Man. Screw off, buddy. Okay, I got the Cowboys at 4. You got them at 5. I got the Chargers at 3. You got them at 4. So we're close here.
Yep.
I almost put Dallas at number 1. I almost put the Chargers at number 1.
Oh, please put Dallas at number 1.
I think I'm waiting one more week to curse the Cowboys. Also, I kind of want Kellen Moore to be the Broncos' next head coach at this point. Don't know if I should curse him yet.
I think someone on Twitter, they said too, like, what if you put America at number 1?
Yeah, or the NFL or the Lions. Or like, what happens if you put the Lions at number 1?
I would just love if it turned the entire Lions franchise around. Like they just like the Ravens just turn around and like, you know what? Let's trade you Lamar Jackson. So, all right. So yeah, we got some pretty close ones here. And then to finish it off here, we got we got I had the Bills and you just refused to put the Bills there. So the team.
Yeah, what am I going to do that to my Buffalo Billies?
No. The team, the Buccaneers are the 1B you do not support, or the Bengals. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers cursed by Brandon Perna.
We'll see
This week.
I've been trying to curse Tom Brady for 10 years now. 10 years I failed.
This is a different type of curse.
I do think you could argue they're the best team. Tom Brady was coming off of his best performance of the season.
Oh, man.
Now they got a short week. They're going to play the Eagles, who are not good. So the only way to prove this curse is real is the Buccaneers losing to the Eagles. Football gods, you got to make something happen. Otherwise,
could you imagine?
My power dwindles.
Could you imagine? Like, because people were arguing that the curse wasn't a thing because of the Cardinals, but as you properly mentioned, people got hurt. On top of that, they played like their worst offensively statistically game, right? They struggled a bit. And again, they linger. The curse lingers.
Yeah,
the Panthers still haven't recovered.
Max Williams for an extended period of time. Gruesome injury in the middle of Arizona's win. And he was coming off a hot week where I specifically highlighted him in the power ranking. And, that's the other thing. Like, I don't want teams to be cursed with injuries. And he was becoming an important part of their offense in Arizona. So, like I said, slow burn, Arizona. Chargers, I didn't want to curse them either yet because I got to wait till they play the Broncos. Also, and this is going to sound, I don't know, bizarre, but Mike Williams, impressed with him. Dude. But then I watched Austin Eckler's press conference. Like, I've got a soft spot for Eckler, undersized, pure gristle of a running back. Went to Western State here in Colorado, which is a cool college because it's up in the mountains. But then I'm watching Eckler. He got carried into the end zone in that game by the Browns. So the Browns they're like, we just need him to score. He's trying not to score. They carrying him into the end zone so they can get the ball back. And the way like he was talking about it was really funny. And then I was like, damn, Austin Eckler is a good looking dude. Like, this is a handsome man, got a good sense of humor, and I like it. Everything about him I like. So I didn't want to curse the Chargers this week, but I'll keep them on deck because I think Herbert's playing at a level where they're going to need to be cursed to be stopped.
Yeah. Ooh, curse won't take effect until playoffs. I feel like, this is going to get bad. You're going to get, you ordered a wheel.
Yeah. I also think we got to, you brought this up. Like, we need to change up the power rankings one week where we do either like the middle teams or maybe we do the bottom top 10 QBs or something, because at a certain point, there's going to be a couple of weeks where like all the teams sort of stay the same, but
yeah, I think I was actually thinking maybe like during the halfway point. So like week 9, we can go and we could do like a reverse. Like I'll still put out my top 10, like you put out the top 10, but then we could do a bottom 10 that like we'll save for GPS and we'll or even a bottom 5.
Bottom 10 would be solid.
Yeah.
I think the middle 10 is interesting too, because 4 of those teams will be playoff teams, right? Like 14 teams in the NFL. So,
we could
do that as well.
I mean, listen, we could go all out and just like make an entire, if there's like a slow news day and just
all 32,
like, all 32 and just be like, listen, here's how we're doing this. And then we just fight to the death.
I forgot to mention that I don't want to bring Gruden back into it, but Skechers dropped their endorsement deal with Jon Gruden. And I just wanted to show everybody what Jon Gruden looks like in Skechers. I thought this was relevant. Also endorsed by Skechers, Howie Long. And if I'm Howie right now, guess what? I asked for double the amount of money.
I want double.
And what's with Skechers going after Raiders, you know?
Yeah.
And I saw somebody bring up a funny point about Skechers on Twitter. I couldn't find the tweet, but they're like, when did Skechers' marketing campaign go from targeting 8-year-old girls to 60-year-old men? And that, to me, that rang true because my parents, like, all they wear are Skechers shoes. And they love Skechers shoes because they're comfortable. It's like a thing that I've noticed. I'm like, that's actually pretty spot on observation.
You know what I kind of want now? Like, after seeing those photos, like, I want for a clickbait punishment, like Tree to do a photo shoot in Skechers. Like, now.
Oh,
like
he has to mimic this shot.
It's just
Tree and Skechers. Yeah. Oh, I love it.
I want to see it. I want to see it. We in the waning minutes of the show, we do have a Thursday night game in which you do have Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers heading to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. I don't think there's anything that says the Eagles should win this game, but I'm now a little more concerned because you put the Buccaneers at number 1. You did curse them. And now I think it's anybody's ball game.
Yeah. But let's see. Where do the Eagles are going to have to score points. And I think
a lot of them.
Didn't Devin White sprain his ankle, or Levante David? Who sprained their ankle?
David is hurt. Yeah, David's hurt. I think he's out for Thursday, but then he's week to week after that.
Yeah. So if there's a week where the Buccaneers defense will be vulnerable, it might be this week.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like the Bucs are scoring 33 points a game. Poor Eagles are at 23. I made a joke this week on Twitter about, like, if you're a Broncos fan and you want to watch a real offense, just watch literally any other team play offense.
Yeah.
Any other team this week.
Any other team. They got it.
And the number one team that responded was like, not if you're an Eagles fan. Don't include the Eagles.
Watch the Eagles just like go wild. Like, just watch the Eagles completely destroy the Buccaneers defense.
It might work because the Eagles don't really try to run the ball, and the Bucs are a team you just can't run the ball against. So maybe it's a weird thing. Jalen Hurts gets hot. There's some holes in the Bucs secondary. I don't know who you're throwing it to there, but Jalen to Jalen, you got to have a lot of Jalen to Jalen TDs.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles' chances of winning are slim. But okay, here's where the curse gets real weird, Tom.
Oh.
The Raiders had just defeated the Dolphins when I cursed them.
Oh,
Bucs just beat the Dolphins. The Panthers then played Thursday Night Football in a game which they actually won, like the Cardinals.
Oh, no.
The Bucs beat the Dolphins and they played Thursday night. If the curse is real, we shall find out on Thursday. God, the football gods, give me the power to bring this curse upon the Buccaneers. And the Bucs exercising great hypocrisy this week by removing Gruden from their Ring of Honor. They've got Antonio Brown on their roster. Guess what he did last season? He settled a sexual assault case. Settled. So that means they're like, just take the money. Take the money because we don't want to fight this thing in the court, whatever court it was going to. And they still have Warren Sapp in the Ring of Honor. Multiple domestic violence accusations against Warren Sapp. So if the football gods want justice this week, they must curse the Buccaneers.
They'll be the curse will be the consistency that the NFL refuses to be.
Yes.
That's what it's going to be. Now, my question is, because I figure this is going to be a season-long thing. Are we going to get a prequel about where the curse came about? Like, kind of like a paranormal
We
activity,
should do a collab video about that,
kind of
Tom.
like prequel of like how the curse was born.
Yeah.
Like, was it because maybe the curse has been here since the beginning? Maybe it's the referees, because the refs feel like they've been cursed. I mean,
Yeah.
you had field goal kickers; they were cursed all this week. It was definitely rough. The Bills have O.J. Simpson on their wall of fame.
And what happened? They've lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. They have paid the ultimate price for that, my friend. Although they did lose those Super Bowls before the O.J.
Yeah, I
Simpson
was to say,
thing.
like, wasn't that before? But
They retroact. They're grandfathered in.
Sometimes the curse lingers, and sometimes the curse just
Yeah.
it retroactively pays you back. But folks, this was an episode. We had over 2,000 people again in here on a Wednesday. So greatly
morning.
Appreciate
Thank you guys.
Yeah, you're freaking fracking phenomenal.
Hey, and I appreciate the mods helping me out, Tom. Got some Grassi mods helping, got some other mods helping, and it's kind of funny that all of my mods are Vikings and Packers fans.
Yep, that's it. That's all it is.
We're Broncos fans. You better step up. I'm calling out Broncos fans because my worst performing video this week, the Broncos recap of the Steelers game, and I know nobody wants to relive that stuff, but that's how I made a living for years.
And now,
like putting some meter into the loss. Broncos fans are disappearing right now. And maybe I cursed Teddy Bridgewater because as soon as the Bridgewater shirts became available, the Teddy Roosevelt shirts became available, they have not won. I might have to burn that shit to uncurse my own Broncos. Shermering, thank you. We got some people watched it.
we got some fans in the chat.
I still got some Broncos fans here.
I love it. Folks, we'll be back on Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern and 9 a.m. Mountain Time. We'll recap what may be a Tom Brady and Buccaneers loss on Thursday night.
We'll see. Also, Broncos fans, go watch Tom Grassi's AFC West recap. The fans, this is the week to watch it, ladies and gentlemen. Broncos fans, check Tom's AFC West. Just madness.
It was a highly anticipated video after what happened. So, and Broncos fans will be very happy at the very beginning of that that episode. So
yeah, I thought of a bit to give you yesterday, but it was like way late in the day. I was like, dang it. I was gonna have the guy who's calls Brecky.
Yeah.
You were gonna call me, and I was just gonna be at my computer going like, I can't talk right now, dude. I am deleting too many emails. But it was like 6:30. It was like too late.
Yeah, yesterday was madness. Folks, we'll see you on Friday. We'll see you tomorrow for Clickbait. But thanks so much for watching. Tom Grassi, Brandon Perna. You've been